Welcome back, everybody, to the Cleveland Guardians franchise here on MLB The Show 22. Today, we're going to wrap up the month of June, get to the halfway point of the Major League season, and start the month of July as we get closer and closer to the All-Star break and the trade deadline, which will be within the coming episodes. We're currently 44-33, which is a game and a half ahead of the Kansas City Royals for first place in the AL Central. So we're in an interesting spot, and assuming we are towards the top of the division at the deadline, you have to assume we're probably going to be buyers, go out and make some moves to try to compete. And after what happened last time we played the Kansas City Royals when we were throwing at each other's batters towards the end of the game, I think both us and Kansas City especially want to win the division to spite the other one. It feels like every division in the major leagues is super competitive right now. All 6 divisions are fairly close up to this point. I mean, the NL East has 4 teams within 2 games of each other, mainly because the NL East is a crap fire and everybody is under 500. But I think with how competitive Major League Baseball's been this season and how close these divisions have been, I would expect a wild trade deadline with a lot of really big moves, which could alter our strategy and force us to play our hand a little bit differently. As it stands now, the team is doing well 77 games into the season. There are a couple players in the lineup I specifically want to highlight, including outfielder George Valera, who of course we just called up in the last episode to make his Major League debut. And through 13 games, he looks really good. I forgot to change his throwing hand and his jersey number. I made sure to do that after I recorded this episode. So for the next episode, he's going to have his correct jersey number, and he's going to throw lefty because he throws lefty in real life. I also want to talk about Franmil Reyes because he is quietly dominating. 22 home runs, 64 RBIs, both of which are second in the American League. He's hitting .279 with a slash line of .351, .541, .892. Really, since the All-Star break of last year, Reyes has been one of the best hitters in baseball, particularly the past 2 or so months. He is currently second in the AL MVP voting, showing how good he has been. He's not our only possible award getter, with Shane Bieber currently third in the Cy Young race. He's been pretty much in the Cy Young race all year. And kind of like Franmil Reyes, Shane Bieber started this franchise series very slowly, struggling in the first half of season number 1. But since then, he's been probably the best pitcher in baseball. The rest of our starting rotation's been fantastic. Everybody has an ERA below 4, and the bullpen's been pretty good as well. So towards the beginning of last episode, I hinted that we're going to make a big trade soon, and well, we're going to make that move today. One of the biggest trades, in my opinion, of the series so far. So last year, the Orioles and Padres swapped Jake Cronenworth and Cedric Mullins. Why is this relevant? Well, there was a third player in that trade. Luis Campusano, a great catching prospect, was traded from San Diego to the Baltimore Orioles. He has one of the brightest futures among all catchers in baseball, but there's one problem. He's on the Orioles, who have Adley Rutschman already, who's really, really good. He is the 4th highest potential on their roster, but with Adley Rutschman being as good as he is, and he's been damn good this year, they don't really need Luis Campusano for their future, and I think a team like us, who doesn't really have their long-term catcher of the future, may like him. I really like what Victor Caratini has provided for us this season, and Omar Narvaez has been good when healthy, but I think it might be hard to pass up an opportunity to get a guy like Luis Campusano. So we were able to make a trade package, and I think it's pretty fair for both sides because you got to keep in mind the Orioles probably don't see him as a long-term piece. Somebody I do think they may like in the long term is shortstop Tyler Freeman, who I think is a really good prospect. He is struggling so far in AAA, but I think he has the upside to be really good. His durability rating is at like 35, so if he can stay healthy, he'll be a stud, and I didn't really like trading him, but we have so many good shortstop prospects that we don't really need him. We're also trading away Ethan Hankins. He's a C potential starting pitcher, but I'm pretty sure his potential is 79, so it's practically a B. So we're pretty much trading 2 B potential prospects for Luis Campusano. I think it's fair value for both sides, and we got a really good young catcher who's instantly going to start in the big leagues. I feel like Victor Caratini deserves to be a starter, and he's no longer going to get that opportunity here, so I feel like it's a disservice to keep him around. The team with the worst starting catcher in baseball is the San Francisco Giants, and it's kind of ironic because last year we traded them Austin Hedges at the trade deadline for Elliot Ramos, an outfield prospect. Clearly that trade did not work for them. They do value Caratini a lot. We could get a potential outfielder, Luis Matos. I don't really think that's fair, so I came up with a different trade that I think is more fair for both teams. So Caratini and first baseman Joe Naranjo are headed to the Giants for 3 prospects, the best of which is first baseman Luis Toribio. He's 22 years old, 62 overall. He's a lefty bat who hits for really good contact, solid power, good plate skills, decent enough defense, and he's playing pretty well in AAA. I feel like he's better than his 62 overall rating suggests. We're also getting starting pitcher Sean Jelly, who is 6'11", and outfielder Idol Pulmonares, mainly because he's a lefty bat and I like my lefties. So the Giants would agree to that deal. Victor Caratini now gets to become a full-time starter again. Luis Toribio is going to be the first baseman in AAA, replacing Bobby Bradley. And I say replacing because Bobby Bradley is going to get a promotion back to the big leagues. Bobby Bradley's played really well the past couple of months. He was horrible in April, but then once we played that one minor league game with him, we hit 2 home runs. It seems like he has gone upwards ever since. Replacing his roster spot in AAA will be Camilo Doval, a former San Francisco Giant who we got last offseason. He started the year off really well, but has been pretty bad the past month or so. I don't anticipate he'll stay in AAA for long, but hopefully he can get some things together and will be recalled up probably by the All-Star break. So Luis Campusano and Bobby Bradley will be added to the lineup. For now, Bradley will start against righties, and Campusano is going to be the full-time, everyday starting catcher going forward, with Omar Narvaez being the backup. Bradley replaces Josh Naylor in our starting lineup versus right-handers. That's not permanent. I just want to see what Bradley can do, and Josh Naylor is probably going to return to the starting lineup sooner rather than later. So we're going to hop into this first game here against the San Francisco Giants. Kind of ironic that we just made a pretty big trade with them, and now we are playing against them. So this is Luis Campusano's Cleveland Guardian debut. It's Victor Caratini's San Francisco Giants debut against the team who just traded him. And it's also Bobby Bradley's season debut as well. The San Francisco Giants are 42-34, currently the second wild card in the National League. The Giants roster really is not all that talented, but they find ways to win ball games. The Giants are the true definition of a winning organization and a winning culture. There's a reason why they've won 3 championships since 2010. Hopefully, we can strive our organization to be like theirs, but like with more talent. So here's Logan Webb, one of the better pitchers on this San Francisco team. He's not having that great of a season, but he is their ace, so it's not going to be an easy one as he faces off against Ketel Marte with a swing and a drive in a right field. That one is gone over the seats, splashing into McCovey Cove. The 9th home run of the season for Ketel Marte. It's the 100th home run of his career as well. Not a great start here for the San Francisco Giants, rocking in their City Connect uniforms, by the way, as the Guardians take a 1-0 lead. A great swing there by Ketel Marte, splashing into McCovey Cove. Let's look at that replay again. I feel like that's got to be a bucket list item if you're a major league hitter, particularly one who hits from the left side of the plate. To hit a ball into McCovey Cove, that's got to be a really cool feeling, especially for his 100th major league home run. And in case you want any proof that this one did actually go over the seats and into the river, as you can see Marte being congratulated there by his teammates for his 100th career home run. But if you want to see the replay just for it to prove that it did actually go in the river, there you go. Way over the seats, way over the promenade, bam! Into the river for a splash home run. So it's now a 1-0 ball game. The Guardians are ahead, as that brings up Franmil Reyes, the possible MVP candidate, who draws a walk. So Reyes is aboard now. That'll bring up Josh Bell, who all he's really done this year is get on base, and he's done a damn good job at that as the count is 3-1. And Bell rips it into right field. That one, again, over the seats, splashing into McCovey Cove. So the Guardians have 2 splash home runs here in the first inning to make it a 3-0 game. So I did a little bit of research. That is the 153rd and 154th splash shots in the history of this ballpark. We just did that twice in 1 inning. Oracle Park opened back up in 2000. So to put that into perspective, this park has been open now for 24 years. There's been 154 splash shots. I did the math. That's about a home run into McCovey Cove every 24 games. We just did that twice in the same inning. That's insane. How about a 3rd home run for what it's worth? It's George Valera with the 2nd dinger of his career. That one does not go into McCovey Cove. That would have been awesome to have 3 home runs there in the first inning, but we're not complaining. The Guardians are dominating up to this point, as that brings up Luis Campusano, his first at-bat in the big leagues this season, and as a Guardian, and he strikes out on the slider. Campusano's played in 3 different major league seasons with the Padres and the Orioles, but hasn't really been a full-time starter, well, until now. Cal Quantrill on the bump for Cleveland, the 28-year-old righty who's having a pretty good season. He's been arguably the worst starting pitcher we've had, which more so says how good our rotation is rather than him being bad, because he has not been bad at all. Striking out Brandon Nimmo, the Giants' big free agent signing in the offseason. He goes down looking. Score remains 4-0. The Guardians are not satisfied with that, however. They want some more. Ahmed Rosario with a home run into left center field. Rosario is quietly on a hot streak. He's hitting like .350 in the month of June. Really playing well. He's on the final year of his contract, so the Guardians have an interesting decision. Do they want to pay him? Do they maybe want to deal him at the deadline? Who knows? Logan Webb has got to get into a groove as he does get Miles Straw to strike out looking. Into the third inning now, it's Josh Bell, who hit one into McCovey Cove earlier. Lines this one into right field for his second base hit of the day as Josh Bell continues his phenomenal season. Bell is on a team option next year, so again, the Guardians do have some choices on what they could do with him this year at the deadline. George Valera draws a walk. He is aboard for a second time today, and from there, Logan Webb's day is done. He didn't even make it out of the third inning. The long reliever, Alex Cobb, the 35-year-old veteran, will check in for the Giants. 3.72 ERA, looking to get out of this inning cleanly with 2 runners on here and 1 away for Luis Campusano. He draws a walk on the low fastball until the bases are loaded. A big opportunity for Ahmed Rosario, who already hit a home run earlier today. I believe Rosario is the only player to hit a grand slam in-game during this series. That's definitely not a grand slam, but it will score a run. The third baseman should have tagged third base and then threw it to second. I don't know why he got rid of it right away. And that's going to cost the Giants a run as Josh Bell scores. Rosario gets his second RBI of the day. Bobby Bradley now up. He strikes out on the sinker. Probably shouldn't have swung at that pitch, but not a bad inning there for Cleveland as the Guardians are dominating early at the plate. They lead 6-0. But don't forget about Cal Quantrill. He's having himself a nice day as we look at Victor Caratini. His first at-bat as a Giant is a grounder to second, fielded by Ketel Marte. The batter after him is another former Cleveland player. It's Yu Chang. He lines out to first, and it hasn't been a great year for Chang. He's hitting .196. He was part of the Camilo Duvall trade in the offseason, and I guess it hasn't totally worked out for us, considering Duvall is in AAA at the moment. So now we're here in the fourth inning. It's Jose Ramirez, who it's a home run into right center field. That one goes off the very top of the wall, but it will go out. The 5th home run for Cleveland today, and we just started the 4th inning. That's pretty wild. Ramirez with his 17th home run of the season. It seems like he is starting to play a little bit better after his midseason slump as the Guardians extend the lead even further to make it 7-0. Bottom 4 now. Tommy La Stella rips this one into the right center field gap. Valera chasing after it. That one's going to go into the warning track. La Stella rounding second, headed to third. If he had a little bit more than 16 speed, who knows? He could have taken that one for an inside the park home run. But nonetheless, the Giants have a runner 90 feet away from home with nobody out and a great opportunity to drive them in. Problem is, he's still at third with 2 away for Wilmer Flores, who has 10 speed as he grounds out to short. Ahmed Rosario makes the play. Through 4, we've got a blowout early on. The Cleveland Guardians ahead of the San Francisco Giants 7-0. Into the 5th inning, George Valera already had 1 home run today, looking for another one. That one would be a home run in most parks, but not here at Oracle. Instead, it will go off the wall for what looks like a triple. Talk about a great performance so far for George Valera. Home run, walk, triple. I think it's fair to say he has adjusted to the major league level quite well. I think it's also fair to say he will not be returning to the minor leagues with how well he is playing. Luis Campusano probably should not have swung at that pitch. It's a grounder that will score a run, however. So that's Campusano's first major league RBI as George Valera scores. Hopefully Valera and Campusano will continue to be mainstays in this lineup for years to come. Runner on first, 2 away. Bradley hits that one of a warning track in center, but it is caught by Parker Ashby, the rookie who hits .200, yet is their leadoff hitter. That seems like the San Francisco Giants type of thing to do. But hey, again, you got to give them credit. They win ball games. They're a winning organization. Here's Victor Caratini. He draws a walk, so now there's 2 on base, 1 away here for Yu Chang, who's going to single it into left field. Yastrzemski rounding third, headed home. The throw from Straw is actually a pretty good one, but just not in time. So Mike Yastrzemski scores an RBI single for the former Guardian, Yu Chang, and the Giants bring it down to 7. Wow, real comeback going on here. Well, the Giants are actually going to keep fighting as we're now in the bottom of the 6th inning. The top of the 6th inning, Cleveland did not score. That's the first inning all day in which they have not scored, as it's a no-out double for Brandon Nimmo. So he is in scoring position here for the heart of the order. And from there, Cal Quantrill will be taken out of the game as pitch count is starting to get a little bit high. He'll be replaced by the former Giant, Jose Alvarez, who's been really good this year with a near sub-1 ERA. But unfortunately, I don't think it's going to get below 1 today as Wilmer Flores hits a 2-run shot into left field. So it's now an 8-3 game. Flores with his 10th home run of the season. Flores will be an earned run against Alvarez, whereas Nimmo will be an earned run against Cal Quantrill. San Francisco's clearly not done. They are looking for more. Here is Mike Yastrzemski with a double. So San Francisco clearly is not done here in this inning as Yastrzemski is aboard on second base with 1 away. The veteran shortstop, Brandon Crawford, draws a walk, so now there's 2 on, 1 out for the former Guardian, Victor Caratini, looking for some revenge. He rips it into left field. Yastrzemski rounding third, headed home. The throw from Miles Straw is an absolute dot. They should put him at quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, for Christ's sakes. Oh, my Lord. What a throw. Part-time ball player, full-time sniper as he guns him down. Nice tag there as well by Campusano. Yu Chang now singles it into left field with 2 away, and Miles Straw completely butchers it. So Straw has one really good defensive play and then one really bad one. Crawford scores. Yu Chang drives in his 2nd run of the game as it's now 8-4 here in the 7th. Diolis Guerra is in for San Francisco. He's having a great year with an ERA at 1.29 as with 2 away. Luis Campusano flies it up to the catcher. Victor Caratini under it, makes the play. 1-2-3 inning for Guerra. And it remains an 8-4 ball game as we go to the bottom of the 7th. San Francisco's offense is hot. We'll see if they can keep it going here against Keenan Middleton, who's been pretty average this year, 4.38 ERA. He faces off against Brandon Nimmo, who strikes out on the circle change. So it seems like the 7th inning will go pretty smoothly for Middleton as he finishes off with a strikeout against Lamont Wade Jr. 7 down, 2 to go. The Guardians lead 8-4. The offense is kind of slowed down, so they're looking to get back on into it as Ketel Marte singles it into center. The runner from first is going to advance to third. That's Josh Naylor getting a little bit gutsy, but it pays off. So now there's 2 runners in scoring position here for Jose Ramirez. Count is full for J. Ram, who homered earlier. He's going to rip it into right field for a single. I'm not sure if Josh Naylor scores had he not gone to third, so the decision to be aggressive on the previous at-bat running the bases proves to pay off. That'll bring up Franmil Reyes. He's been the only player for Cleveland to not hit the ball well today. That's going to change here as he lines it into left field for extra bases. Ketel Marte will score. It's an RBI double for Franmil Reyes. And the Cleveland Guardians now have double digits as they lead this game 10-4. Right when San Francisco gets a little bit going, Cleveland's like, no, not on my watch. So here in the bottom of the 8th, the Guardians will go to their long reliever, Aniel De Los Santos, as he looks to close the game out. But it wouldn't be so easy. Mike Yastrzemski, homer into right center field. It's now 10-5. Busy day for Yastrzemski. That's the 3rd time he's reached base, although he's not going to stay on base considering it's a dinger. That'll bring up Brandon Crawford, the very next batter, also with a bomb into right field. So now it's 10-6. San Francisco is really making some noise here. The Giants are not going to quit. Talk about that winning culture. Even when they're down big, they're still really pushing in a valiant effort to come back. Are they done yet? The answer, no. Yu Chang with his 3rd hit of the game, his 3rd RBI of the game, and it'll be a solo home run, and so it's now 10-7. So Aniel De Los Santos here in his 1 inning of play allows 3 dingers. Safe to say he's not going to pitch the 9th as it's now a save situation, so the Guardians are going to go to their closer, Emmanuel Clase. This inning right here is what I call the typical Emmanuel Clase inning. Strikeout on the cutter, not too bad of a start there, 99 miles an hour. That'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Lamont Wade Jr. Hits really well against righties. He goes down on the fastball, 99 miles an hour. The only pitch Clase hasn't gotten a batter out is his slider. So why not finish off getting Wilmer Flores to go down chasing? Clase strikes out all 3 batters with all 3 of his pitches, and the Guardians win a really exciting game, 10-7. With 2 McCovey Cove home runs in the 1st inning, this was certainly a really fun game from start to finish. Our offense was great in the first half. Their offense was great in the second half. Everybody hit well for us for the most part. All of our starters, except for Bobby Bradley, got base hits today, and Luis Campusano, but Campusano drove in a run, and he drew a walk. Home runs for Rosario, Ramirez, Bell, which was a McCovey Cove shot, Valera, and Marte, which also went into the Cove. Cal Quantrill pitched pretty well. The bullpen was a little bit shaky. Alvarez and De Los Santos were not the best, but obviously it was enough to get the win. As for the Giants, 7 runs, 11 hits, home runs for Flores, Crawford, Chang, and Yastrzemski. Yu Chang was really good. He drove in 3 runs. He only has 9 on the entire season. He only chooses well to play well against us, I guess. I don't know why. So we're going to wrap up the rest of this Giants series. I really wanted to play against the Padres. Normally I don't play games in series that are back-to-back, but I really wanted to play against San Diego. So we would take 1 of 2 in the games that we simulated against the Giants. So we ended up winning that series 2-1. And I wanted to play this first game here against San Diego, a really exciting pitching matchup between 2 pitchers who look like all-stars this year. Shane Bieber for us, Chris Paddock for them. I do want to point out that Shane Bieber is currently not projected to be an all-star, though. 5 starting pitchers make it out of each league, and he is 6th in voting. The voting system is very flawed. I don't get how Jose Ramirez is ahead of Anthony Rendon when they have the same amount of home runs, and Rendon's batting average is better by like .075, which is kind of a lot. So I think Shane Bieber feels like he's got a little bit to prove today against a really good San Diego Padre lineup. So it should be a fun game here at Petco Park as the Guardians continue their National League West little mini tour, I guess. We already played in Colorado this season as well, and I know we played in Dodger Stadium last year, so now we just need to make it out to Chase Field against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Looking at both lineups, again, for the most part, regular starters for both sides. George Valera still hitting the ball really well. Luis Campusano's done a solid job since the trade. Franmil Reyes still red hot. As we look at Chris Paddock, who for a while was on the trade block, but I think San Diego's happy they kept him. 2.99 ERA, 1.03 whip. He is balling as he faces off against Jose Ramirez. This one looks like it'll be a double play, and that's exactly the case. 3-6-3, good defense by Joey Votto and Fernando Tatis Jr. Here is Shane Bieber, 8-4, 2.8 ERA, 1.07 whip, pitching very well this season as he faces off against the electric Fernando Tatis, who goes down on the slider. Good work there from Shane Bieber. No offense really through 1 as we go to the second. George Valera hits that one high and deep into center field. Back at the track is Cedric Mullins, and it's gone. George Valera with his 4th home run of the season, his 3rd home run in his last 4 games. He had one in the first matchup against the Giants, and he must have had one in one of the 2 games we simulated against San Francisco. So George Valera is really hitting for some power here on this West Coast trip, as it is a 1-0 ball game. The Guardians have a number of former Padres, including Luis Campusano, Josh Naylor, Franmil Reyes, Cal Quantrill. All of those guys started in San Diego, as that'll be an error. Fernando Tatis, more like Fernando Tatis 6, as it's not going to matter. The former Padre Josh Naylor grounds into Joey Votto. Good inning, though. George Valera puts Cleveland on the board as it's 1-0. Johnny Hustle up here in the second, or more commonly known as Manny Machado. He's going to single into right field, so Machado is aboard, but he won't stay aboard. Did you see that leap by Shane Bieber? He's got some bunnies. I wonder if he can dunk a basketball. 1-6-3 double play as it remains a 1-0 game here into the third. Another strong inning for Shane Bieber. He does allow a base runner, but it's not really going to matter as Cedric Mullins flies out to right. Caught by Josh Naylor, one of the many pieces in that huge Mike Clevenger trade that these 2 teams made a few summers ago. Jose Ramirez up here in the 4th. That one is hit high and deep into left center field. It'll bounce over the wall for a ground rule double. Just the second base hit for Cleveland today. The first one, obviously, the dinger by this gentleman right here, George Valera, who strikes out on the 12-6 curve. That was a nasty pitch by Chris Paddock. I'm not really going to blame Valera for swinging at that. That was just a beauty. Into the 5th inning, Luis Campusano goes down looking on the fastball, and we've got an old-fashioned pitcher's duel. Chris Paddock is balling. Shane Bieber also balling as Jalen Davis hits that one over Paddock's head for a base hit. Could Cleveland start a little 2-out rally here, get something going here in the top of the 5th to try to extend the lead with the top of the order due up? That starts with Ahmed Rosario, still hitting the ball really well these past couple of months, but he's going to fly this one into left field. It will be caught by Marcell Ozuna. 1-0 here through the middle of the 5th. We're going to go into the bottom of the inning, see if San Diego can get on the board. Speaking of Marcell Ozuna, he is up to the plate. He's going to fly this one into center. Should be caught by George Valera. 5 scoreless for Shane Bieber. He's not really overpowering these San Diego batters. He isn't striking out a ton, but he's getting them to hit the ball in play and hit it not very well. Top of the 6th, Josh Bell singles it into left field. Another base hit for Bell, who was aboard for a second time today. I feel like every game I play with Josh Bell, he gets on base at least 3 times. Bell on a 10-game hitting streak. He's only 46 away from tying Joe DiMaggio. Franmil Reyes, the former Padre, singles it into right. The bases are now loaded with nobody out. Reyes on an 11-game hitting streak. He's now 45 away from tying Joe DiMaggio. You guys think either of them are going to get there? The answer is no, they won't. Emilio Pagan will replace Chris Paddock, who was starting to struggle here as his first batter, Ketel Marte, singles into center field. 1 run scores. The other runner is going to hold at third. That's Jose Ramirez. With no outs, Cleveland didn't think it was worth the risk, so the bases are still loaded. That'll bring up George Valera. He draws a walk. That'll drive in a run. So Jose Ramirez scores after all, and it's now 3-0. Bases remain loaded here for Luis Campusano, who goes down looking again for a second time today. Pretty uneventful day at the plate here for Campusano. As if one away, Josh Naylor's going to pop this one into left field. Marcell Ozuna after it. He should be able to make the play, but that's more than enough room for Franmil Reyes to tag up, as the throw to home is not in time. So Franmil Reyes scores. The Guardians with a 3-spot here in the 6th inning. All 3 runs go against Chris Paddock. Bottom 6. Jorge Alfaro lines it to first. What a great play by Josh Bell. Not known as a very good defender, but that was a really nice play there at first base. Jackson Merrill, the 19-year-old, grounds it to second. Nice play by Ketel Marte. Cleveland's defense really playing well here in this one, and obviously the pitching has been damn good too. Dinelson Lamet is in here in the 7th. Former starter, converted to reliever. His day does not start off particularly hot as Josh Bell reaches base for a 3rd time today. There you go, another Bell hit. It's a single into center field. The Guardians comfortably lead this game, but they want some more. It's Jose Ramirez with a homer into right field, and it's now 6-0. The past couple of weeks, Jose Ramirez is really starting to play better. It's good to see him getting out of that slump, getting back to his MVP ways from a year ago. So the Guardians have now kind of turned it into a blowout. They are up big. In the 2 games we've played today, the offense has gone bonkers in both, and it's been really fun to see. Here is Franmil Reyes now looking to keep the offense going. He got a base hit in his last at-bat. Looks like he might get another one. He didn't hit that ball on the sweet spot of the bat, but Reyes is just so strong that he's still able to turn that one into a double. So Reyes is in scoring position here with 1 away, his 14th 2-bagger of the season. 2 away for George Valera. Lines that one past Fernando Tatis. George Valera has now driven in 3 runs today, as that'll be a double. George Valera, the home run, a walk, and a double today, all of which drove in runs. He has been so productive at the plate, and as I said earlier, I don't see him getting sent down. Luis Garcia will replace Dinelson Lamet, who can't even get out of the inning, but this inning's not going to end. Luis Campusano singles it into center. George Valera will score. So after scoring 3 runs in the 6th, Cleveland one-ups that, and they score 4 in the 7th. So they now lead this game 8-0. Talk about a blowout. Shane Bieber still in, showing no signs of slowing down as he's made it through 7, forcing Joey Votto to swing to pitch that he probably should not have. Cleveland doesn't really have the bullpen warming up anybody, so I think Shane Bieber might be in the game for a while. Josh Bell lines it to left. What a play by Marcell Ozuna. You don't like to see bad people make good plays. Ozuna has a questionable character, so if you don't like Ozuna, there you go. He just struck out. Good work there by Shane Bieber, who's pretty much right at around 100 pitches, but despite that, he's going to stay in the game here at the bottom of the 9th. That might be a mistake. Second baseman Rush Niekro leads off the inning, and that one is a home run off the right field foul pole, so the shutout is no more. A dinger for Rush Niekro, his 5th of the year, and Slam Diego is on the board. They're only down by 7. 2 away here for Fernando Tatis. Grounds it to shortstop. Andres Jimenez makes the play. Really good win for the Guardians. They take this one home 8-1 with a complete game from Shane Bieber. I think it's fair to say he's going to be getting some more All-Star votes after this one. Definitely one of his best performances of the year, and he got backed up with plenty of run support. The offense was great, particularly Ramirez, Reyes, Bell, Valera. Those were our core 4 guys. They each had multiple hits. Home runs for Ramirez and Valera, Marte and Naylor, and Campusano also driving in runs. And of course, Shane Bieber, 9 innings, 1 earned run, 4 hits, only 5 strikeouts, but he made it the entire way. And the Padres lineup didn't really do a whole lot. Rush Negro with a double and a home run, but other than that, the rest of the team combined for 2 base runners for the rest of the game. Chris Paddock gets the loss. Paddock pitched pretty well, minus the 6th inning. The bullpen wasn't all that good for them, however. So a good win for us. We're now 47-34. We're officially 50% through the year. So if you multiply that by 2, we are on pace to finish the season with 94 wins. That's pretty good. We're going to simulate our next series here against the Detroit Tigers. Also finish up the Padres series. We would go 3-1 in that stretch, including a couple of shutouts in Detroit. This game we won 5-0 with 8 scoreless innings from Tristan McKenzie, whose ERA is barely above 3. And then the very next game, Shane Bieber pitched a complete game shutout. This was originally Adbert Alzolay's scheduled start, but I swapped him and Bieber because, as you guys know, Shane Bieber completely owns the Tigers, and, well, that played to fruition. The Tigers still cannot hit off of Shane Bieber whatsoever. I am convinced Shane Bieber owns like 3 real estate somewhere in the Tigers organization. After 2 complete games of allowing just 1 run, Bieber is now not only getting a lot of votes, but he is the leading vote getter for American League starting pitchers, and he is also the Cy Young favorite. Nobody in the American League has more than 1 player leading their position for All-Star voting except for us, and we've got 3. Shane Bieber, Jose Ramirez, and Franmil Reyes, all 3 of whom did really well in that 4-game stretch that we just did. So next episode, we're going to wrap up the technical first half of the season, getting to the All-Star break. We're probably only going to play 1 game because we're going to cover the international free agents. I know everybody has been super excited about that. So that will be in the next episode. I'm going to be spending some time this weekend creating all of them, putting them throughout the major league. So hopefully you guys are excited about that. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new and enjoyed the video. Peace out.